Hi YouTubers out there, it's Fortune Cookie 45LC coming to you this morning with a subject of terminal ballistics at the range for pistol. Now I know most of us shooters don't really care much about what happens at the target at the range, except for the fact that the bullet holes, we want them to be in the bullseye. But it's an interesting subject. Now ballistics, just by gathering empirical data and information over the years, seems to me that ballistics means that those properties appertaining to projectiles in motion. So properties appertaining to projectiles in motion. I guess I'll have to check Webster's to see what the official definition is, but that'll work for now. And what triggered this off was that there was a time at the range recently where we were shooting at a target and a huge amount of paper confetti was actually blown out of the target. And this confetti was all over the target. It just actually rained down just like a ticker tape parade. And it's amazing. So it kind of made me think about, well, what's actually happening at the target? So you see here the reason why a lot of confetti was blown out, that the range uses these cardboard targets over and over again, and what they do is they put layers and layers of base targets, this big sheet here, on the cardboard. And then we come along and stick multiple layers of our own targets on there, and so you get a pretty thick amount of paper in there. And so when the bullets go through, you're liable to get a lot of confetti blown out of there. So let's look at the types of bullets here and see about the terminal ballistics about these rounds, about these bullets. So your basic handgun types are either your round nose, or it could come to a little more of a point, but your round nose, and then the flattened off round nose, which is this one. So round nose, flat point. And then you have the semi-wad cutter type bullet, which has a shoulder, to a full wad cutter, which is taking that cone section off, and all you got is a flat nose, and that's called a wad cutter. So what happens with these? So the round nose bullet, the terminal ballistics at the target, the round nose bullet, this is a 9mm round nose bullet, hits the target, and the round nose punches out a very small little hole in the center, probably about, looks like 20 caliber. Maybe even a little less. That little hole right there. And then as a round nose bullet pushes its way through the paper, it makes a 9mm hole, but the paper is still there and it will fall back into the hole. So what you see is a kind of a tiny little 20 caliber hole with paper that's been disrupted around it. And that's the kind of hole that is made by a 9mm. Now the problem is, if you have one of those holes near a scoring ring, did the bullet actually hit the ring or not? If it hits the ring, you get the higher value. So there's actually gauge-like devices that are used to go through the hole that will allow the scorer to determine whether it hit that ring or not. And that's why using wad cutters and semi-wad cutters for target shooting is more popular because it cuts a cleaner hole. We'll show you that in a little while. But here's what happens when you shoot a round nose flat point, especially in a larger caliber. The round nose flat point has what's called a me-plat. That flat section there is called a me-plat. So when this round hits the target, the me-plat actually cuts out, so you see the size of that hole is very, very close to the size of that me-plat. And in fact, this is what made this target. So then the bullet, after the me-plat punches the little hole, the rounded portion of the round nose flat point then slides through and leaves the same kind of paper damage that falls back against after the bullet passes through. The paper kind of falls back a little bit, so you have a bigger hole but still a kind of a fuzzy edge, and that's what the round nose flat point does. Now what the semi-wad cutter or wad cutter does is it cuts a very clean hole, because as this bullet passes through, you see that shoulder just actually punches out that paper, and instead of having the paper kind of slide through and then fall back, it just punches that paper clean out of there, so that you get actually almost a full caliber hole that's cleanly cut. And target shooters love that, because it'll hit the next scoring ring easier. Although again, with a gauge you can score. Now here's one instance where it makes a difference. Did that bullet hole hit that ring or not? If it did, it's worth an extra one or 2 points, which can make the difference between a match winning or taking second place or third place or whatever. So if you look at that very closely, did it hit that ring or not? You might say no, it didn't, because you can see a little fuzzy bit of paper there. But if you take the bullet and put it through there, you see it actually did hit that ring. And they actually have gauges that will be usable for wad cutter or semi-wad cutter bullets also. So certainly if this were a match, the competitor could ask for a remark on this bullet hole, because this bullet hole actually scored the higher value. At any rate, this is what the semi-wad cutters or wad cutters will do, and in fact this is the bullet that will punch out that confetti much more efficiently or much more effectively. So YouTubers out there, we like the jacketed round nose bullets in our semi-automatic pistols, but they do slide through the paper target, terminal ballistics. And the lead bullets are more effective against punching out paper, and certainly the bigger bores also will have a bigger terminal effect at the target. Now we're not talking about terminal ballistics in the field. We're talking about terminal ballistics at the range on paper targets only here. So YouTubers have fun at the range, and this is a topic that again doesn't have much interest, but the next time you see a lot of confetti flying out of your target, you'll know why. And if you're with a friend and there's a lot of confetti flying out of their target, you can tell them what's going on. Fact of the matter is, their bullets are hitting it near the middle, and they're blowing out a lot of paper confetti because you got holes on top of holes, and that paper will fly loose much more readily. So congratulate them for that. Fortune Cookie 45 LC, signing off. Bye for now.